Well, hey, there you are. Sonia here. Welcome to Sonia's Sermonettes. When I was 19 years old, my mind was very troubled. I had to deal with a lot of fear. My main fear was that if I died, I wouldn't make it to heaven and be with the Lord. That was my main concern. I had a lot of conviction about my lifestyle, although I really wasn't doing anything. I just wasn't doing anything, is what my problem was. I wasn't serving the Lord, but I knew there was a God, and I'd tried to find him, but somehow or the other, I couldn't have an experience with him at the time until at the age of 19. It got so bad that I couldn't sleep at night. I felt restless, taunted, tormented, and fear just gripped my heart, especially when the evening shadows would fall and nighttime would come around. And there was this fear that if I departed from this earth, would I go be with the Lord, or would I go to the other place? So I began to pray, the only thing I knew to do, and I asked God, if you'll make a way for me to attend a meeting, I'll give my life to you. And at that time I wasn't driving. It's kind of strange, 19 years old and wasn't driving, but I wasn't. And so I was sitting out in the yard. It's getting evening time again. My faithful old dad came out there and sat down by me. And he said, he said they're having a meeting in town. He said, would you like to go with me? He said, they really have good music. And I took that as my sign from God that he had heard my prayer and was making a way for me to get deliverance and to get help. Well, we loaded up and went to church. They were having a revival. Had an evangelist. To be honest with you, I can't tell you anything that preacher said or talked about. I just felt like it was just an urgent thing for me to do, to go to the altar. He preached a long sermon, like many of them do, and then he made an altar call. And I was standing on the other side of my dad, and I had to pass by him to get out into the aisle and go down to the altar. My dad knew what was wrong. I could tell he knew. He held his head down and was choking back tears when the preacher made the altar call, and I had to push past him, which was a very hard thing for me to do. And I made my way to the altar and got down on my knees, and I cried like I've never cried before in my life. I wept and I cried and I wept. I so desperately needed something that was real. I was searching for something that was real. I didn't want something temperamental. I wanted something that worked for my life and that would give me peace of mind. And as I knelt down there and was weeping and crying, like I said, I don't believe I've ever cried so hard in my life. It was like over the years, all the years of the fear and the doubt and the wondering was just coming out of my eyes, pouring down the cheeks of my face. And when I got up from there, I felt a cleansing such as I'd never felt before. And when we left that church building that night and got into the car, my dad was driving us home, I was sobbing, gasping for air. I could not quit sobbing because I was so stirred and so moved by the experience that I had received from the Spirit of God. It was real and I knew it. It wasn't something fake. It wasn't hyped up. It was a reality that there is a Spirit and there is a God. And what my dad said to me, I wondered how he would think I was because of crying so long and sobbing as I was on our way home. He says it never hurts anyone to pray and to give their life to God. and I knew it was okay then. Have I had it easy since then? Has everything just been a bed of roses? I'll tell you, I've gone through some valleys in my life. But you know what? We all have in one way or the other. But through those testing times, and through those times of getting to know the Lord and the Spirit of God even greater, I didn't know what God had for me to do in the future. I had no understanding of He was going to call me to minister to His sheep, to His little ones, to you. I did not know that. But as I grew in the Lord, and the more advanced I became in the Spirit, I began to feel the call of God in my life. That God wanted me to minister to His hurt little ones. That's the ones I'm out after, that God has ordained for me to be. Those that feel hurt, those that feel rejected. You want to know something? God never rejects any of His children. He loves each and every one of His children. Regardless of where you might have been, what you may have done, God's got open arms for you, just as He did that night so many, many years ago. I gave my heart to the Lord, and He took me in, and He was there all the time, and I just did not know it. He had a plan for my life, as He does for you. God has a plan for our life, and it's the best plan that you can have. It's not, I hope this is going to work. Maybe this might work. It is something that will work for your life. Just give your life to the Lord. Ask Him if He's real. Seek Him. Do as I did. God, will you make a way for me to be able to go to church, or to get to know you, or to get on my knees and pray? Really don't have to be in a church to do so. But at that time, that's what I felt I needed. And I can say that I have never regretted that night that my dad took me to church, and I received a personal experience with God. And it has done nothing but grow ever since, all these many years. And now I talk to God as if He's my best friend, because you know what? He is. And so can you. He's not one out there looking for all the wrong and bad that we do. You think God doesn't know that we have problems and that we're weak, that we do carnal things, fleshly things, as they call it. Do bad things sometimes. But God still loves us. I pray if there's one out there that needs something from God, that you'll give him that opportunity and seek Him and see what you may find out. Give your life to the Spirit of God and let God take over and take care of your life. I'll be back.